It was a beautiful day at the park, perfect for a game of tag. "You'll never catch me," I laughed, chasing after my little sister Lily. She was a giggling blur of pink and purple, her favorite color combination. Suddenly Lily stopped laughing. She froze, her eyes wide with terror. She pointed a trembling finger towards a towering oak tree at the edge of the playground. "What is it, Lily?" I asked, my heart pounding. The look on her face was one I had never seen before, a mix of fear and curiosity that made my own heart race even faster. I followed her gaze to the base of the oak tree. The tree had always been a place of comfort for us, a spot where we played and imagined countless adventures, but today it felt different. There, propped against the rough bark, sat a doll. It looked out of place, almost as if it had been deliberately placed there to watch over the area. It wasn't just any doll, it was life-sized. The kind you might see in a store window, dressed up to catch the eye of passers-by, almost as tall as me. The doll's presence was unnerving, its size making it seem almost human. It wore a faded blue dress and had rosy cheeks. The dress looked old, like it had been left out in the elements for too long, its color dulled by the sun and rain. But its eyes were just blank, white orbs, staring. They seemed to follow us no matter where we moved, giving the doll an eerie, lifelike quality. Lily whimpered, burying her face in my side. I could feel her trembling, her small body shaking with fear. "It's creepy, Emily, let's go." Her voice was filled with urgency, a plea to leave this unsettling scene behind. Her voice was muffled against my shirt. I could barely make out her words, but the fear in her tone was unmistakable. I tried to sound brave. I knew I had to be strong for Lily, even though I felt just as scared. "It's just a doll, silly." I forced a smile, hoping to reassure her, but my own nerves betrayed me. Someone probably left it here. Maybe it was part of a game, or someone had forgotten it after a picnic. But even to my own ears, my voice sounded thin, uncertain. The doll's presence was too strange, too out of place to be easily explained away. As we slowly backed away, I couldn't help but glance over my shoulder. The doll remained there, unmoving, its blank eyes still staring. I took Lily's hand, and we walked away together, our steps quickening with each passing moment. The further we got from the tree, the lighter I felt. But the image of the doll stayed with me. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about the doll. Who had left it there? And why? The questions swirled in my mind, keeping me awake long after I'd gone to bed. I found myself staring out the window, half expecting to see the doll standing in the yard, its blank eyes watching me. But the yard was empty, and the night was still. I hugged my stuffed animal tightly, seeking comfort in its familiar softness. The doll was just a toy, I told myself. It couldn't hurt us. Eventually, exhaustion took over and I drifted off to sleep, the image of the doll fading into the background of my dreams. The next morning, the sun was shining and the world felt normal again. But the memory of the doll lingered, a strange and unsettling reminder of that afternoon by the oak tree. Lily and I returned to our usual spot by the tree, but the doll was gone. It was as if it had never been there, leaving us to wonder if it had all been a strange dream. We never found out who left the doll or why, but the experience stayed with us, a mysterious chapter in our childhood that we would never forget. And as we grew older, the memory of the doll became a story we would tell, a reminder of the strange and unexplained moments that make life so intriguing. We decided to stay on the swings. They were far away from the oak tree and its silent occupant, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The wind seemed to carry whispers now, whispers that sounded suspiciously like Emily. Lily. My skin prickled with goosebumps. Lily wouldn't leave my side. She kept glancing back at the oak tree, her eyes wide and frightened. The doll was still there, watching, waiting. The sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Time to go home. We raced through the gathering shadows, our breath forming white puffs in the cooling air. The game had been intense, the kind that makes your heart pound and your legs feel like jelly. The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows across the cricket field. The air was filled with the sounds of laughter and the occasional crack of the bat hitting the ball. But as the light faded, a sense of urgency took over. We knew we had to get home before it got too dark. I didn't slow down until we reached our front porch, safe. The familiar creak of the wooden steps under my feet was a welcome sound. I glanced back, half expecting to see something or someone following us, but there was nothing. Just the empty street and the distant sounds of the evening. Mom held the door open, her face etched with concern. She had been waiting for us, her eyes scanning the darkening street. The worry lines on her forehead deepened as she saw us running towards the house. "Why are you two so late?" I was getting worried. Her voice was a mix of relief and frustration. We had lost track of time, caught up in the excitement of the game, but there was something else, something that had made us run all the way home. Before I could answer, Lily burst into tears. "The doll, Mommy, the creepy doll." Mom hugged her tight. "It's okay, sweetheart, it's just a doll." Caught up in the excitement of the game, but there was something else, something that had made us run all the way home. Before I could answer, Lily burst into tears. "The doll, Mommy, the creepy doll." Mom hugged her tight. "It's okay, sweetheart, it's just a doll." But I knew it wasn't just a doll. There was something off about it, something that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. But as she closed the door behind us, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. The house felt different, like it was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. I couldn't help but notice the oak tree at the edge of our yard. It stood there tall and imposing, its branches swaying gently in the evening breeze. But there was something wrong. The oak tree that had never been there before, I was sure of it. I had played in that yard countless times, and there had never been an oak tree. It was as if it had appeared out of nowhere, watching us with its gnarled branches and twisted trunk. The oak tree that had never been there before. It loomed over the yard, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch out towards the house. I couldn't shake the feeling that it was watching us, waiting for the right moment to reveal its secrets. The night was just beginning, and I had a feeling it was going to be a long one. That night the house seemed to breathe with a life of its own. The shadows in the hallway danced eerily, and the dimly lit corridor felt like a passage to another world. I slept with the light on, hoping the warm glow would keep the darkness at bay. The soft light from the bedside lamp was my only comfort in the oppressive silence of the night. Every creak of the house echoed like a whisper, a reminder of the age and secrets hidden within the old wooden structure. The floorboards seemed to groan under an invisible weight, adding to my unease. Every rustle of leaves outside my window sounded like footsteps approaching, the wind playing tricks on my already frayed nerves. The tree branches swayed, casting eerie shadows that danced on my walls, sent shivers down my spine. But the doll was the worst of all. Its glassy eyes seemed to follow me, even in the dim light. It sat there, motionless, yet filled with a sinister presence. The doll didn't appear in my dreams. The next morning the sun rose, casting a golden light on the oak tree in our yard. The morning light brought a sense of normalcy, but it was fleeting. The oak tree was still there, standing tall and imposing, its branches reaching out like arms. It was a familiar sight, yet it felt different, as if it too had witnessed the events of the night, looming at the edge of our yard. But the doll was gone. "See?" Mum said, ruffling my hair. "Just a doll." She tried to comfort me, but her words felt hollow. The doll's absence was more unsettling than its presence, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, terribly wrong. My mind raced with possibilities, each more terrifying than the last. The worry etched on my face was a reflection of the turmoil inside me, and that feeling only intensified when I saw the doll again. This time it was sitting on the kitchen counter. Its sudden reappearance was like a punch to the gut, a confirmation of my worst fears. It was sitting on the kitchen counter, staring at me with those unblinking eyes. How did it get there? Who moved it? The questions swirled in my mind, each one more unsettling than the last. The kitchen, once a place of warmth and comfort, now felt cold and menacing. The doll's presence was a dark cloud, casting a shadow over everything. I knew then that this was just the beginning. The doll had a story to tell, and I was about to become a part of it. I screamed. Mom rushed into the kitchen, her eyes wide with alarm.
"What is it, Emily? What's wrong?"
I pointed a trembling finger at the doll. It sat on the counter, its blank eyes staring at me. A half-eaten bowl of cereal rested in front of it. Mom's face paled. She slowly approached the doll, her hand outstretched. She touched its cheek. Cold, hard, plastic.
"Emily," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I think we need to leave. Now.
Section 7. An unexpected guest. We didn't pack, didn't take anything, we just ran. Out the back door, across the yard and into the woods behind our house. The storm broke as we ran. Rain lashed at our faces. Thunder boomed overhead. Lightning illuminated the trees in flashes of white light, but we didn't stop running. Not until we reached the highway, not until we flagged down a passing car. Section 8. Sanctuary. The motel room was small and dingy, but it felt safe. We huddled together on the bed, wrapped in scratchy blankets. Mom made calls to the police, to someone called a paranormal investigator. I didn't understand everything, but I understood enough. The doll. The doll wasn't just a doll, it was something evil, something dangerous. The police arrived. They searched our house. They found nothing. No sign of forced entry, no fingerprints. Nothing. Section 9. Shadows and Whispers. The paranormal investigator arrived. He was a tall, thin man with kind eyes and a calming presence. He listened to our story. He examined the house. He even visited the playground. When he returned, his face was grave. "There's a presence here," he said, "an entity attached to the doll. It feeds on fear." He gave us amulets, small silver pendants engraved with strange symbols. "These will protect you," he said, "but you must never let the doll touch you, and you must never speak its name." Section 10. Never look back. We moved, far away. We started over. New town, new house, new life, but some nights I still hear the whispers. Whispers carried on the wind, whispers that sound suspiciously like Emily, Lily. And sometimes, in the dead of night, I see a shadow flicker at the edge of my vision, a shadow that looks suspiciously like a doll.